All right, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm not exactly sure. So like, I don't have a basis for this discussion because I'm not exactly sure what are all the things that girls know about, and what are things that girls don't know about. I can tell you from a guy's perspective that it seems like girls know a lot more about relationships, or at least girls are more socially intelligent. And as guys, we're kind of like wondering exactly how it all works. And it seems as if girls are like somewhat have a better idea of how the rules are, like the structure of like how dating is supposed to go, and guys are just trying to figure it out, and we're kind of just lost. And it seems as if it's just something that comes with age. One thing I've thought about is that as girls, you guys must develop a lot quicker just because you guys get approached by men, and what happens is that from a younger age you guys are exposed to to the opposite sex and to social interactions, whereas guys, most guys, if you don't play like a sport or whatever, like, and you aren't like some popular kid like in middle school, like you're probably not going to talk to too many girls until you're at least in high school. And so what happens is that guys develop later and girls are more developed from the get-go. And so I want to talk about from a guy's perspective what I think girls would do better to understand. And I could just be saying this like talking to air because maybe you guys already understand. Who knows? But I think when it comes to dating, I think both sides are kind of like confused with each other about what's going on. And we're kind of making a lot of stupid decisions because we should know better, but we haven't even like taken a second to pause and to think about what is going on a large grand scale. So one thing about that I want to explain to give context is about culture. And so I think culture is one of the most beautiful um, kind of things about existence, I guess. I don't know what words to use to describe it. So basically a culture is like the conglomerate, or like, but like the sum total of everyone's life basically. And but it's like the way everyone lives and loves and exists and interacts, but it's like all the rules basically of life are written by the culture of your society. And so not every lesson in life has to be taught verbally or like directly. What happens is in with a culture, no matter what the culture is, you grow up in an environment, and the environment teaches you about, like, what life is like without words having to be said or anything. You just like observe and you soak it all in. And anyway, I think it's like it has the potential to become the most important thing to save humanity is creating the right culture. But also to the other end is that if a culture is rotten, if a culture is being diminished in its values and its principles, then the result is that all the children born will learn incorrect principles, and their lives will start to rot from the inside out. So I think in terms of culture, we've taught ourselves a lot of unhealthy and like unwise, stupid is the better word, dating habits, but or more like ideas about dating. So the thing is that these days, most people are not dating, and I don't know what the statistics are, but I would imagine that most girls have dated a guy, like as a majority. Not saying all girls, but most girls have dated a guy, whereas most guys have not dated a girl. Um, and that's just because there's a certain percentage of guys that have kind of not even figured it out. They've kind of like they're more genetically developed. Maybe they have better features, and they've also developed socially due to what I said earlier about like maybe they're an athlete or like someone growing up that had attention from girls, and they figured it out quicker. These guys are dating all the girls, and all the girls are having this shared experience with a small group of guys. And so what everyone thinks about dating is based off of perspective, right? It's not necessarily based off of reality all the time. Sometimes it's just perspective. So what most girls know about dating, this is just a theory. It might come from experience with a small group of guys. And for what most guys understand about dating comes from watching most of the girls go after a small percentage of guys. And so we're both kind of, it's like a conflicting thing where we both don't understand the whole picture. So as a girl, one thing I understand is how it must be hard trying to find the right guy because girls have to be more picky, right? You guys have more to risk when it comes to like sexual reproduction. A guy can have sex with as many girls as he wants, and nothing will happen to him, right? Like biologically. But a girl, as soon as she allows herself to become vulnerable, will be inhibited, will become pregnant and need protection and providing all this stuff for at least 9 months, and for like a year after that as well, while she's taking care of the children, like years actually. But anyway, so it's a huge investment, and so girls have to be more picky, right? So the guys that are growing up in this culture today are not equipped and not prepared to become husbands or boyfriends or anything like that. But on the other hand, I think there's a lot of bad influence that has become harmful to women in terms of becoming the right type of woman. So just because as a woman you're able to get guys, it almost means nothing, I think, because guys are more susceptible, not like susceptible, but like basically guys are more simple, and and guys are opportunists, basically. Whatever comes our way, we're gonna take it. Girls are more selective, right? So as a girl, just because you've been with guys doesn't really mean much. And so that's a principle I kind of wanted to start off with, is that as a girl, if you're pretty, like life is going to be easier for you, but you shouldn't let that stop you from developing other things about you. And I think it's the same thing as like when people talk about like being a nice guy doesn't matter. It's like, of course it matters in terms of being a good person in society, but just being nice isn't like attracted to women. What's attracted to women is physical appearance and social interaction, like how well you interact with other people and all these things. How dominant you are, how much of a leader you are, that stuff is attractive, right? So if a guy is only nice, and then you meet other guys that have these qualities of like leadership and all these things, and they can also potentially be nice, you're obviously going to go for that guy instead of just a guy that's only nice. That's the same thing for a girl that's only pretty. And typically, not to be rude, but girls that are only pretty most of the time are pretty dumb. Anyway, they grow up having things like given to them, basically, in most cases. Obviously, it's not like the true for everyone. I'm just saying on an average. So what we have to realize is that there are certain qualities, the things that we're being taught that are not important. Like, for example, like if you're a woman, you're taught that it's not important to be submissive, almost like subservient, but like to be supportive of a man. We're being taught that's not a value anymore. And then we're talking as men, it's like you don't have to be dominant, you don't have to be a leader, you don't have to be protective. You should be more docile. You should be like more like have more feelings and all these things. And what that's doing is it's negating and offsetting the qualities that make us attractive. If you think of like magnetism, like how the opposite ends of the magnet attract. If opposites attract, the attraction is determined by how different we are. And if we start like letting go of our differences and becoming the same, then there's no attraction. That's like the key, I think, if you think about it that way, is that when women stop becoming so feminine and start adopting more masculine traits, and men start adapting to become more feminine, at that point there's no attraction left. We can't be attracted to each other. And so if you're sitting here wondering like, why is it that it's so hard to find the right guy? It could be not because of your physical appearance, like I said, like just being pretty isn't enough these days. Maybe you don't have enough personality to attract a man because your personality has been like, I don't know how to, like, diminished. I don't know. You have less personality than what you were born with, basically, because society and this culture has conditioned you to be a certain way. So think about that, I guess, when it comes to finding the right guy. Are you the right girl, basically? And I know every girl worries about that, and I know guys. Anyway, we're all hoping that there's someone out there for us that will take us as who we are, but the reality is that our society has been denigrated and for a long time basically is corrupted. So it's like the whatever society makes these days is not good enough. It's not going to be in a good enough condition. So we have to become better, and as we become better, we'll give ourselves a better chance to attract all, not even like a partner, but all the good in the universe that we want to have. We'll attract it by becoming better ourselves. So hopefully that explains at least a little bit to any girls out there that like, and guys, if you're listening, hopefully this gave you game too. But as a girl, you really just gotta focus on what are those this isn't even like boy and girl thing, this is like everyone. Focus on what are the qualities that would make you attractive to the opposite sex. Because if one thing's for sure, attraction is not determined by you as anyway, I'm just gonna say it as an object, not that you are an object, but as the object being viewed or looked at. an object does not determine its own attraction or its own worth. The worth of an object and its attraction is determined by the person who wants it. Like as a woman, if a man is considering you, he gets to determine how attractive you are to him. You don't get to say like, hey, you should like me because I have this, this, and this. The same way a guy can't walk up to you and tell you that you need to be with him because he has these features or these things going on for him in his life. Attraction is determined by who's looking at you. So you should consider, what do guys actually like think is attractive, and what can I do to develop those traits so that when I interact with a guy, he's gonna automatically place me on the top of his priority list because I'm that much different from all the rest of the girls. Because I think we're all being conditioned to try and be the same person, like political correctness or whatever, like all the same ideologies. We're being conditioned to like to fit inside a box, and what's going to happen is that we won't be able to tell each other apart. And so you have to set yourself apart from the rest of the people. And if that means like doing things differently or becoming a different person, so be it. You're going to be that much ahead, and like the ultimate goal is to be in a happy family, right? And if you're willing to sacrifice that just because you're scared of how people are going to view you or think of you, then obviously you're not ready for it anyway. So those are all my thoughts. I'm going to keep making videos about this topic. I think it's important, but let me know what you guys think. And that's it. Signing off.